Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Awaken His Memories and Powers at the Land of Wave, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the other channels, Anime King 2 and Anime Prince. Yes, that's right. I indeed have 4 channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post. And comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply and talk back to all of you guys. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode, guys? Let's begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Hinata had passed to go into the finals of the exam. However, that led to a complication because her father wishes to speak with her but she was not home. Instead, she had went to spy on Naruto to see if he was okay, seeing that he was acting strange in the exams. But that was a problem because she found Naruto, who was talking to Kabuto. Arriving there, she was able to read his lips because of her Byakugan. And what she saw startled her, so she ran. She ran as fast as possible to get out of there. However, Naruto arrived. He wouldn't allow anyone to mess up his plans, as he brought his blade down and slit her throat. But the problem was Kyo and her other guards arrived on the scene. As they saw what happened, they rushed in. Kyo was a member of the main family as he attacked Naruto with ferocity along with the 2 others. As Kurenai and Asuma was just coming back from a date, passing by the same location. The coincidence was just that strong. When they heard the explosion, it wasn't common for explosions like this to go off so close to the village, so they went to investigate. Arriving there, Kurenai was shocked when she saw none other than Hinata on the ground, and she couldn't believe it. Rushing towards her, she saw Hinata there. The girl was dead. Tears started to stream from her eyes as she looked over as Kyo was still fighting against Naruto. Asuma also jumped in the fray as he tried to stop Naruto with everything that he got. Well, in his long-range specialist, however, Naruto was able to counteract that with his newest abilities. Kurenai tried to place him under a genjutsu, however, Naruto's body was able to push it off with the Fox Chakra. Kurenai wasn't that powerful when it comes to speed or strength-wise, but her genjutsus were quite deadly. It allowed the others the few seconds to knock Naruto back. Things became more hectic when envoys arrived on the scene as they started to draw attention to their fight. As Naruto was surrounded, a giant man named Kuma grabbed him and slammed him in the ground. However, Naruto flipped and slit the man's head before he kicked it, causing another battle to erupt between them. But things got a whole lot worse when the Hokage arrived. The moment Hiruzen saw the explosion, he started to watch through his crystal ball, and now that he was here, Naruto quickly went into his mindscape as he told Kuromi to give him everything, take over his body and rid this village of everything and everyone in it. However, she was against this, saying that it might mess up his mind more bad than he even imagined. However, Naruto did not care. He rather him dying instead of being trapped and erased once again. As he pleaded with her, he begged her. So she agreed, and with that his power skyrocketed. Everyone in the village felt the power of the 9 tails as they started to shiver in their boots. Kakashi arrived on the scene, followed by Guy. As they arrived to see what was going on, the power was getting immense. However, Minato showed up in the mindscape as Naruto had hit 8 tails. But Minato could not subdue Naruto by himself because Naruto would not let him. But Chain dropped around Naruto and grabbed him, though it was Kushina, crying. She was apologizing. She didn't want to do this, but she saw the things that Naruto was planning on doing. He was gonna erase half of civilization, the things that was in his mind. She begged him to stop, she pleaded with him, however, Naruto would not. Minato was able to slam a hand in Naruto's stomach, sealing off the fox chakra as Naruto collapsed to his knees in the outside world. As he tried to get back up, however, he was pinned down to the ground before he was knocked out and dragged back towards the village. However, before that though, the blade, Naruto blade had been sent sailing with a bit of Kuromi's chakra. A council meeting happened right afterwards. Hiruzen knew that he could not protect Naruto in this one. There was no way that he could protect Naruto one bit, because if he tried to allow everything to go off smoothly, there was no doubt that he would go to the Fire Daimyo and have his position as Hokage revoked, because he wasn't able to protect the village. Naruto has done a heinous crime, not to mention Hinata was dead, the heir to the clan. Hayashi was furious, but he tried to keep in his emotion, but you could see the anger on the man's face. He wasn't happy at all. So Danzo swooped in and made it his, well, reality to do what's possible. He was going to take Naruto out of the Chunin exams and train him into a perfect weapon for the village, to serve it for the rest of his life, as punishment for what he did. Everyone agreed with that, as Hiruzen had to agree as well, as Danzo knew that he trapped Hiruzen in a corner right here, and if he goes against this, well, people would think that he was a problem. So he had no choice but to agree to what Danzo was saying. So with that, Naruto Uzumaki was going to be trained by Danzo Shinamura to properly serve the village with everything that he had, as Naruto was locked away. Hiruzen had went to visit him, however, after that talk, the man looked broken even more. Jiraiya went there, as Naruto told him that this was all on him. He told him to kill him a long time ago, but he refused, as Naruto was done talking with him. However, Naruto was trapped. He had no plans, no way of getting out of here. He knew that he could not fight Konoha. There were just too much of them, and some of them were still stronger than him, as he gave up. However, plans were being made. Kuromi had sent some of her chakra consciousness into the blade, as it was sent towards Gaia and Shikaku, as Shikaku wanted to know how she was able to move in the human realm without transforming her fox form, as she was going to help her sister out by freeing the one called Naruto Uzumaki. While that was going on, the rookies were wondering what was going on, as Sasuke went to Kakashi to find out what the hell was that last night, while Kiba went to Kurenai, as he found her crying. Shino was there as well, as the kids had to know. There was no point now, because Naruto would never see the light of day ever again as himself. As they told him, Kiba couldn't believe what he was hearing. There was no way that was possible. How could Hinata be dead? And the rest of the truth has yet to come out about who did it. However, it was gonna spread like wildfire. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check it for yourself, and what do you see will be in this new episode, guys? We begin this episode at the Yamanaka residence. There was a week left until the Chunin exam finals. At the moment, Inko made her way downstairs, as she then came face to face with Inoichi, as she did not meet his gaze. "How is she doing?" asked Inoichi. "She's still broken up about it," Inko said in a soft voice, as Inoichi noticed her behavior before he moved forward. "What's wrong?" he said. "I should have listened," she said, not looking at him. "You told me, but yet I was against your idea of giving him a chance. Look what he did to that poor Hyuga girl. What if it was Ino that he did that to? It would have been all my fault because I did not listen." "It's okay," Inoichi said. "None of us knew what he was planning," as Inko started to cry. Ever since she found out, the thought of Naruto going after her daughter had haunted her, because she did not listen. She told her husband that everything would be fine, they were just friends. However, he turned out to be a monster. Inoichi did not blame her or anything. He was not even angry, because he knew that this was partially his fault as well. He was the one from the beginning that had erased Naruto's mind. But how would the boy gain back those memories were beyond him. However, the news about that has not come out. What everyone believes is that he just went crazy and started to attack. Even the younger generation now knew what he was. There was no point in hiding anymore. The news had spread like a wildfire. Everyone in Konoha knew, and they were calling for his death. To quell the chanting and the protests, Hiruzen had to tell the civilian populace that Naruto Uzumaki was dead. He was killed that night. Which was a lie, of course, but they would never see him again because Danzo was going to turn him into one of those mindless agents that he used behind the scenes to make him work for the beneficial of Konoha, under the Hokage of course. However, Danzo had the proper treatment to make sure he can never retain any part of his mind. This go far beyond erasing his mind. This was a complete substitute, a complete submissive control. Something that you should not even wish on your worst enemy, but when it comes to this child, it had to be done. For one, the daimyo would be rather upset to hear that the Ninetales once again attack. And if it went over the border and attack the Fire Nation, that would be just really bad. Not to mention, with the Chunin exams coming up, people might think that Konoha was weakened, so it was a good thing that they were able to subdue the Ninetales that quickly. That it didn't transform fully. No one had the slightest idea how they were able to stop it, because the last time they checked, it took the 4th Hokage risking his life to do so. However, they got lucky, and they now had him trapped away. After the Chunin exam finals, he will be dealt with. Inoichi was just glad that this was behind all of them now. However, all he had to worry about now was his daughter. She's been crying a lot lately, upstairs. Ino was crying her eyes out, as she still couldn't believe it. Naruto had become her friend, and she started to like him. Actually like him. But it was all a lie, it was all a trick. He killed Hinata. Hinata was one of the most sweetest persons. She was shy. She was also sweet and kind as well. And he killed her, and he killed several others in cold blood. The news also came out that he was a Ninetale Fox as well. However, it doesn't matter because he was dead. He was killed, and she would never see him again. She would never know why he did this. None of the Genins or even Chunins knew what happened to Naruto. The secret about him taking up Root Organization was, well, something very high up. So none of the lower class members knew about that. Konoha has never utilized their Jinchuriki to the fullest yet. Mito Uzumaki was married to the first Hokage, and she never had to go on the battlefield with the Ninetales. Kushina Uzumaki, known as Red Death, she was never used as a weapon before. However, Naruto Uzumaki will be used as a weapon to protect Konoha. Train in the most harshest ways possible to serve and protect the village with his life. He will have to go under mind alteration for a year or two to make sure that he's loyal to the village. While that was going on, out in the training grounds, Sasuke Uchiha's hand was covered in lightning as he moved. He then drove his hand in the boulder. It exploded, as pieces of the boulder were sent everywhere. Sasuke panted as he stood there. Kakashi was up in a tree as he watched Sasuke. Sasuke then collapsed down to his knees, panting heavily, as he used his hands to brace himself, as Kakashi watched him from up in the tree. Kakashi did not know what to make of the situation. All of a sudden, on the land of Wave, Naruto had changed so drastically. And then, he gone and did something like this. Of all people, killing Hinata. That just didn't make any sense at all. From what Kakashi learned about the girl, she was soft, sweet, a rather shy person. Strangely, because the Hyugas were always stern and heartless, but she was different. And Naruto slit her throat like she was nothing. It made absolutely no sense. Kakashi just didn't know what to make of it. But it seems like he was never gonna find out. He was high enough to be told that Naruto was not killed in the attack. However, he was going to be taken for the better use of Konoha. Whatever that means. Kakashi sure knew that it was not going to be pleasant though. However, once again he did what he always did. He pushed down his feelings. He would go to the Memorial Stone and speak to his old teammates and speak to his sensei as well. But once again he failed. He never saw it coming, but he was unable to save another comrade down below with Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke was panting in anger. It made no sense. The dope was the dope. That is what Sasuke always called him. That is what he saw him as, even after his change. To kill Hinata, killing Anvus, it just made no sense at all. And it turns out that he had the power of the Nine Tails. So that would explain why he was so strong now. But still, Sasuke couldn't fathom why he did any of that. And now he was dead. Well, it didn't matter, Sasuke thought to himself. It's not like he cared about the dope, right? He told himself over and over. All he had to do was get stronger. All he had to do was kill Itachi. As Sasuke struggled up to his feet, nothing matters except for killing Itachi, he thought to himself. Meanwhile, at the Haruna residence, that monster deserved what he got, Sakura thought to herself. Finally know what Naruto did. Not to mention when he had threatened to kill her while they were in the forest. He had turned into a real monster. And she also found out that he had the Nine Tails. That is why people didn't like him. And now he killed Hinata. He was a monster. He deserved whatever he got. At least he would no longer be there to interfere with her and her Sasuke-kun, she thought to herself. However, more people were taken a lot harder than her. Especially ones that knew Hinata for a long time. That being Team 8. It was devastating on them. At the Inazaka compound, as Hana Inazaka, eldest daughter of Tatsumi Inazaka, came downstairs. She was the heir to the clan and she came down to see her mother in the kitchen. Tatsumi turned towards her. How is the pup, she asked, speaking about her younger son Kiba. He's not doing so well, Mom. Given what happened to him in the preliminaries by the one that took the one away that he loved. It's hard on him. Tatsumi knew that. Her son never liked to show it, however she saw it. Whenever his teammate came over, he liked her very much. She always told him to go for it. She must like him as well. However, Kiba never made a move. He's always shy about it, which was weird, given who he is, given the Inazaka's brash attitude. That made her find out that he really cared about her. And with everything that happened, it was hard on him. Up in his room, Kiba Inazaka was sitting down. He was frustrated. He was angry. The reason why Kiba was so angry was because Naruto was dead. Because Kiba wanted to rip his throat open himself. Naruto humiliated him. He broke his arms and legs in the Chunin exam preliminaries. And then he killed Hinata. Hinata of all people. How could someone do that? Kiba had lost his mind. He had went so angry that he just wanted to attack everything around him. His feral instinct coming out, but when he heard that Naruto was dead, it broke him. To know that he would never get his revenge. To know that he would never be the one to rip his throat open. It angered Kiba to no end. He was furious. He was angry. He wanted to make Naruto suffer. He wanted to erase him. He wanted to be the one to put him down. He slammed his fist into his bed, knowing that he will never get that opportunity, knowing that he will never see him choke on his own blood. Kiba was pissed off, and there was not a damn thing that he can do about it because he was already dead. Damn it, he was furious. Shino was feeling the same thing. Shino might not show it often, but well, growing up he didn't have much friends. Outside of his clan, he didn't have much people because of his whole bugs thing. However, Hinata accepted him without a second guess. She was nice, sweet. She was a glue on their team. A sweet little flower that always kept everything stable and calm between them. And now she was just taken away. As Kurina was being hit worse by it as well. Kurina was like a second mother to Hinata after her mother passed away. She had become a guardian to her, bringing her to school, training her, and now the girl was gone. Kurina had stopped crying, as there was no more tears coming out. Her best friend Anko and Asuma was there for her, but she was keeping everything in, it seems. Kurina was furious. Not to mention, Asuma was able to find out that Naruto was not dead. And now Kurina knew. And since she found out that was the truth, she had went so quiet. Asuma was starting to get worried. However, it was a strict rule by the Hokage that no one could reveal that he was still alive to none of the younger generations or Chunin and below. So they had to keep their mouth shut. However, she was acting more strange. As for the Hyuga compound, Hanabi. Hanabi was broken up about it. Her father had become more distant and cold. Even in this moment, he should be there for her, supporting her, but he has isolated himself. It was hitting him hard. Hayashi now realized that he'd lost his daughter, when he thought that he had lost her when she was a young girl. Because of Kumo, that was hard on him, but now to find out that she was actually gone, it hit him like a train. Soon he'd realize that he still had another daughter left. Another daughter that he had to protect with everything that he got, because if she died as well, there would be nothing left. Some of the more older members of the clan were happy for this. While they did not care about the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, they were happy that Hinata would no longer be the heir because girl was too soft. As for Neji, he didn't know what to think of this. He's hated her for his whole life because, well, quite simple. He blamed her for his father's death, but now that she was gone, it just felt so weird. As everyone that was in the finals still kept on training, they still kept on preparing for what is to come. The final matches had to change up. So that is the view on the village right now. Everyone was angry, everyone was pissed off. Everyone was not liking the situation they were in. Most of them wished that they could kill Naruto with their bare hands. Some of them not knowing that he was still alive to do so. At the secret hideout of Orochimaru, Orochimaru sat in his chambers waiting. Around 5 minutes later, Kabuto finally arrived. Ah, Kabuto, you took your sweet time getting here. I'm sorry, my lord, Kabuto said, but I was unable to get the exact location of where he's located. What? Orochimaru said. They're doing this at a high profile level. The persona that I've taken in Anfu doesn't give me any clearance to get to him anytime soon. So I don't think that we can take his revenge on his village as an option for the upcoming invasion. So you're saying that his party is a no-go? Exactly. Orochimaru was angry about that. He would have a valuable, deadly ally on his side that hated Konoha with everything. And now, damn it, Orochimaru didn't like this one bit. However, he had an idea. They will have to send out their envoys to help in the invasion. We will strike then. What do you mean, my lord? Kabuto, I want you to gather a team from our forces. A team with a specific order to rescue Naruto Uzumaki out of the prison cell that he's captured in. I'm sure once he's rescued by us, he will repay us in his loyalty for saving him from that hellhole. After all, we both know how Konoha treat their prisoners. So there's no doubt that he's suffering right now. And there is no way that they will ever kill him because of what he contains. So we will have a strong ally on our side who feels indebted to us. So I want you to find a team, which you will not be part of. I want you to put Gurren in charge of it, to lead this team to recover Naruto Uzumaki during the invasion. So she will be coming, said Kabuto. Yes, I knew that I was gonna hold back on her or Kimimaro, but now, they are needed for this job. This child is gonna be more hateful towards that village. And besides, Gurren is the person that he used to make contact with me. I'm sure he would love to see her again, his faithful rescuer. But first, send her here. I wish to speak with her. At once, said Kabuto as he left, making his way. As Orochimaru chuckled darkly, he had a plan. A very good one. That will ensure Naruto Uzumaki being loyal to him. As Orochimaru chuckled darkly, happy at how things were playing along. Konoha didn't know what the hell they were doing, and now, they were gonna regret it. They were gonna regret it all. Time skip. The day had finally come. The participants were ready. All the people were gathered. There was a lot of them. People had come from far and wide to hear and see the Chunin exams. The rumors had spread about the Nine-Tails' second attack, however, no one could say anything much because there wasn't much damage done to the village, as they did not see any wreckage or anything at all. If that was the truth, maybe it was covered up rather quickly. Up in the stands, the people were gathered there. Several people including Kiba. He was there with his mother and sister. Sakura was there as well. Ino was there as well. Hayashi was there along with Hanabi. They were all there to watch the Chunin exams. Neji was still participating and the Hyuga clan was there. The head of the clan was there as well. Hanabi sat beside her father, as her face had a sad look to it. Her father had been less vocal, even more than before, which was saying a lot given that he was quiet most of the times. However, Hanabi was trying her best to remain strong, even though she would never see her big sister again, and it was really hard on her, really hard. Everyone arrived except for Sasuke Uchiha. However, there was nothing wrong because he wasn't going to be participating first. The Hokage was putting on a brave face as he gave his speech. His tone was strong and vocal, however, he was hiding the pain inside. Jiraiya of the Sannin was here as well. The only reason why Jiraiya was here was because Orochimaru had arrived in the first part and Naruto had spoken to him. However, they had no idea what he had planned, if he was going to try something against Konoha. As Hiruzen had told him to remain, Jiraiya had saw how broken up the man was, so he decided not to add on to the guilt and just remain. Although Jiraiya's heart was not into it. He expected to come back here to train Minato's son to be the best shinobi that he can be. He didn't expect to come back to see this at all. As he sighed, he was on top of one of the roof looking down, along with several envoys. There was a lot of important people here, so they had to make sure that the matches went off smoothly and nothing interrupted. The Katsuragi arrived as Hokage greeted him with a smile on his face. The Katsuragi was neutral and calm about everything, wearing a veil over his face, as he arrived with two of his guards. Down below, Gaia was looking around, as she calmly surveyed the place around her. She didn't say anything or spoke to her siblings. Her face was calm and neutral, which was rather strange given that sometimes she had this bloodthirst look on her face, but now it was different. The proctor for the match, which was Genma, spoke up as he started to tell them the rules of this exam. It was similar to the preliminaries. The first match was Shikamaru versus Temari, so with that everyone made their way up. As for Shikamaru, while most of the other kids, well all of them believed that Naruto was dead, Shikamaru did not bite. There was a reason why. Hearing that Naruto was in Nine Tails, hearing that he could not be killed, Shikamaru didn't understand why would they kill Naruto if the Nine Tails is inside of him. That meant it would be free, right? Because he could not be killed, it would reform after a while. So why would they kill him? Wouldn't it be better if they lock him up? However, he had no evidence of that, so he remained quiet about it despite not believing it. The rookies have met up, except for Sasuke. He didn't want anything to do with that, as they had come together and spoke to each other. Yes, Naruto doing this, Hinata. However, Naruto personality, of all things, Naruto, of all people doing this, it was a shock to all of them. Kurina was here as well. You could see her face that she had been crying a lot. Her eyes were still red despite she hadn't cried in some while to show how much she had cried. Asuma sat beside her. Uncle was there as well, as she was calm. She had spoken, but she hasn't spoken for too long. The death of Hinata had really hit her hard, tremendously so, and to know that her killer was still out there alive, that had been hard on her. So with that, the first match commenced. It consists of Shikamaru hiding and Temari trying to free him from where he was by blowing it up with her fan. It eventually ended with Shikamaru tricking her, as he captured her, but in the end he gave up. As he said that he was about to run out of chakra, his shadow receded, and Temari won. The next match was Neji versus Gaia. As calmly as ever, Neji made his way down there, as Gaia made her way down there as well. Hey, Temari nudged Kankuro. Is it just me or is she acting different? Yeah, now that you say, I've been noticing the changes. But they're for the better, right? She's no longer glaring at us or threatening to kill us. That is a weird part. Why has she suddenly changed all of a sudden? Do you think it's because of what is to come? Asked Temari. As Kankuro looked behind him, as he saw the others. I don't know, but this is not the best place to talk about that. Yeah, you're right, said Temari, as she went quiet. The match down below didn't last too long. The problem was Neji Hyuga focused on close range combat. His rotation was helping a bit, however. Neji ran out of chakra far quickly before she did, as she kept on swamping him with sand, and he just couldn't get close while he was fast. He wasn't as fast with Lee with his gates, so he could not keep up, as she kept on pushing him back until she viciously slammed him into the wall, breaking his left arm as he cried out as she threw him. She was about to rain sand down on him. However, the proctor arrived, stopping the match as Neji was no longer able to continue, giving Gaara the win. Her sand was ridiculously powerful. His rotation might have held off a bit, but he was still no match for her. And yet still she was calm, confusing Temari and Gaara even more. After a fight, she was usually ruthless and brutal. Something didn't seem right at all. Up in the booth, Orochimaru watched. He was waiting for his prize. That was Sasuke Uchiha, who hadn't arrived yet, and it was his match. The proctor called for Sasuke, who wasn't here. The order was sent about a disqualification. Sasuke would have fought Naruto, but Naruto wasn't here, so he'll be moving on to the next person. However, Sasuke was not here. Orochimaru waiting for the Uchiha to arrive to start his plans. However, Sasuke didn't seem like he was about to show up. He was given 5 minutes, so they had to wait as people started talking about the prodigy of the Hyuga clan being defeated that easily. That girl was really strong. While Neji was able to hold his own, he was able to keep up, as she has far more chakra than him, not to mention her stand was really versatile, and Neji could not get close enough to subdue her. So that was the bad part. After around 5 minutes, the time limit came to an end. Sasuke Uchiha was about to be disqualified until Sasuke arrived with Kakashi in tow. The both of them creating a spectacular entrance. That is when it happened as Orochimaru gave the signal. Immediately, Kabuto cast again Jutsu. Sasuke was confused. The moment he arrived, he felt strangely sleepy until Kakashi slammed a hand on his shoulder, forcing him to wake up as he sent chakra through his system. Sasuke looked around confused. What the hell is going on? He said. It was then that they heard explosions. Turning their gaze, massive snakes broke through the walls. The Hokage box got filled with smoke as Hiruzen snapped his gaze towards Orochimaru, who was in disguise. As the Kazekage chuckled darkly, as Hiruzen knew that something was up. However, Jiraiya jumped down. As he landed on the outside, Anvu's arriving as well. The window was easily shattered by Orochimaru's Zone 4 behind him. However, Jiraiya slammed his hand down, forcing him to separate, causing the members to jump to the opposite roof. Orochimaru was forced to jump out as well, causing Hiruzen to flip up to the roof of the Kage boots, which was a problem because they wanted him to move towards one secure location where they could trap him. But that didn't seem to be the case right here, as they were out in the open. The Zone 4 was forced to jump apart, causing the Anvus to jump towards them. Two of them got 4 Anvus each. This was bad, as 2 was surrounded by 4 Anvus, the other 2 surrounded by 4 as well. Jiraiya's involvement in the plan made everything worse. Hiruzen looked toward the snakes. Go, he said, as Jiraiya nodded before he jumped off, as he summoned a toad and squashed the snake who was trying to enter the village and cause destruction. However, the Zone 4 was being occupied by the Anvus. What is this, Kazekage? Hiruzen said as he focused on the individual, knowing all too well that was not the real Kazekage. Orochimaru frowned under his veil. He didn't want to be in the open like this, where other people could intervene. Damn it, he cursed to himself as he looked towards the Zone 4. Meanwhile that was going on, Temari and Conqueror jumped down as the fight was going on. Where is she? Said Temari, looking around. Where the hell is Gaara? As Conqueror was confused as well, she was coming up a moment ago, and then she just vanished. A distance away, Gaara reappeared in a sand Shin and hid behind the wall as several Konoha ninjas passed by. She arrived to a normal building. She watched as several Anvus left the building heading out. She then entered. It looked like a normal building until the gourd on her back started to glow red. Gaara then reached in as she pulled out Naruto's sword that was glowing red. She then nodded her head as someone spoke to her in her mind. As she walked, immediately she was surrounded by 3 Anvus. What are you doing here? One of them said, as she turned towards him. However, the sword flew out of her hand and impaled one of them in front of her with quick speed, before it proceeded to shot black lightning right into the other one. Surprising the envoys as San rushed out of her court, grabbing the one behind her and crushing him. The place was small, as it was a narrow, small hallway, so there was no way in hell that they would be able to escape or jump back. The sword then came back to Gaia, as she kept on moving, making their way calmly. As Gaia nodded before she made her way down the hall, turning before she dived into her room. The moment she did so, several envoys passed by. As the sword was no longer glowing, once they were gone, the sword started to glow once again, as she started to walk even more. She made her way as she went through several twists, several turns, breaking through the genjutsu that tried to stop her as she made her way down there. Meanwhile that was going on, a team consisting of Gorin Lanky, Orochimaru's subordinate, followed by Renji, Gozu, a hulking man who respected and was loyal to Gorin 100%. Then there was Kigiri, then Koharu, then Nuari. These were the best that they could scrunch up. They were a lot better than the Jonins of the Land of Sound. So they had been brought together under the leadership of Gorin. Alright, this is the location, said Gorin as she looked down towards the building. From what we told, our target is in there. However, we do not know exactly where he is. However, while the invasion is happening, most of the envoys are going to be spreading out. So it's our job to slaughter as much envoys as possible and retrieve Naruto Uzumaki. Blonde hair, blue eyes, whisker marks. Remember that, she said to them, as all of them nodded. Alright, let's move. As with that, all of them jumped down there and made their way. At first, one of the members of the gas mask started to bomb the place, filling the entire place with gas. As each of them placed in a gas mask as well that was handed to them by him, so they could make their way through. Several envoys were forced to collapse down to the ground as the gas invaded their system. However, Gaia was too far down to be affected by this. Gaia had slaughtered a few envoys already, as the sword was a big help as well. It seemed to have a minuscule of the abilities that Naruto possessed. However, Gaia was no holding on to it, as it was leading her right towards its master. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the Sand quickly realized that Orochimaru had tricked them, so they pulled out. Temari and Conqueror were forced to leave, even though they shouted at Baki that Gaia was not here yet. However, they had no choice. The Konoha ninjas were on the warpath, as people were slaughtering the Sound and Sand ninjas. And this was a mistake. They were dragged into this by a psychotic snake, so they had to flee. Orochimaru was pissed off. For one thing, he did not get to capture Hiruzen. At the moment, his snakes had been subdued. Jiraiya jumped back on the battlefield. Orochimaru was left out in the open. A horde of envoys arriving in the scene. Might Guy ever remember arriving as the Hokage was not trapped? Orochimaru stood there. As Hiruzen spoke up, "It's over. You're surrounded. You made a big mistake coming here today. I will correct the mistake I made so much years ago by ending you once and for all." Orochimaru chuckled darkly. "You think you can end me? Well then." Orochimaru quickly leaped down toward the stadium. As he was quickly followed the sound for jumping down as well, he flashed through hand sign mid-air. "Edo Tensei," he said as he slammed his hand down. As coffins started to rose, 3 coffins. The first 2 opened up, however this third one, it just faded away, causing Orochimaru to frown. He immediately rushed forward and pushed the kunais in the back of their heads. Immediately, the first Hokage flashed through hand sign before slamming his hand down. Gigantic roots erupted from the ground, skewering envoys and ninjas alike. Hiruzen had to flip, and several ninjas had to flip out of the way, as their comrades were skewered like barbecue. Orochimaru turned toward the Stone 4, knowing that they won't be able to put up the barrier because they were surrounded from all ends. "Go," he said. "Kill as much Konoha ninja as possible. Do not hold back," he told them. Hearing that, they all instantly activate their curse mark level 2 as they went on a slaughtering spree. Orochimaru pulled the Kusanagi blade out of his throat as he started to hack down ninjas. Hiruzen and Jiraiya was forced to face off against the first and the second Hokage, who was monsters in their own right, Orochimaru looked as he did not see any signs of the one tail. He could feel more Konoha ninja coming in. Just what the hell is going on? He hoped at least Gurren got her job done. He warned her not to fail him. Meanwhile, deep underground, the two ninjas, Anvus that were left to guard the special subject, was currently standing there, as they were told not to move from their position. However, one of them were vocal about it. We should be out there helping. It's not like you'll be able to escape. They were able to subdue his mind and his consciousness. So why are we still down here? We were given a job. A job that we should not question, so be quiet, the other one said. Tch, the first Anvu said rather angrily. That is until they had to jump apart as a sword slammed right into the iron bars behind them. However, sand came from both sides, forcing both men to leap forward. But that was a mistake as a wall of sand crushed their bodies in the wall. The place was too small for them to evade, as their bodies were pressed until bones started to crack and burst, until there was nothing but mush. Gaia then walked up. What now? She said. As she then nodded, hearing the voice in her head as she took out the sword, she then plunged it right in the center of the seal. The seal that was on the iron bar started to slowly rot away, before it completely vanished, leaving no trace or sign of it at all. Her sand then came and destroyed the door, tearing it off. She moved forward as she stabbed the sword into the wall. The seal that was there was burned off before the sand ripped it apart, as she did not wait until it opened up by itself. There was another seal location there before she stabbed the seal right in the ground. There were several mechanisms that, if you forcefully tried to open it, however, the corrosive chakra spread in a wildfire and burned every single seal. None of these were strong enough to hold the power that was flowing out of the blade. However, there was a problem. The blade had to recharge. Just like how the Kyubi was a mass of chakra, but Kurome also had to recharge her chakra if she expended a large amount of it. The blade had to recharge. So with that, Gaia was left towards the final door as she pushed the blade into it. The chakra that came out was much weaker because the seals outside was far stronger than she expected. However, she raised her hand as Gaia started to sweat a bit before her hand transformed into a demonic claw. She then injected. Her corrosive chakra started to come out as well, before it started to burn away all the seals that were on it, as she conserved the chakra that was left in the blade, because he had to use it to wake him after all, to make sure his body react and break through the barrier that was holding back the well of power inside of him. So she took the blade and walked with it, arriving towards the room. Meanwhile, a little distance away, what the hell, said Gurren, as there was nothing but dead bodies, Anvus that is. While there was a small amount of Anvus here, still, someone else is here. Hurry, we have to move, she said, as Gurren rushed down the hall, thinking that someone else was here to capture him. Gurren! Gozu shouted out, as the hulking man pointed towards several blank-faced masked Anvus. These were Root. Danzo had sent his Root agents to bring the boy to him. Hiruzen had the boy under his custody. However, Danzo feel it would be better if he had him under his lock and key to keep him more safe, Danzo said to himself. Stop them, Gurren shouted as she rushed ahead, as the remaining members stayed behind and started to fight off against Root Anvus. Gurren quickly arrived towards the location as she made her way down, seeing the two dead bodies. However, Gaia was already inside. Do it, the voice in her head told her, as Gaia arrived to see him. He was on the ground. There were several seals on his chest. He wasn't wearing a shirt, only clad in black pants, no shoes or sandals either. There were seals on his forehead and on his face as well. His hands were chained. There was a chain around his neck and he was lying on the ground, a gigantic seal underneath him. Gaia plunged his sword forward as a strange barrier erupted. However, the sword was able to cut right through it. Inside of Gaia's mindscape, the little consciousness that Kurome had sent in there collapsed down to her knees. I can't do this by myself. Glancing up, she saw none other than Shikaku sitting in a throne, with a little smile on her face. Oh, you can't, she said. But you're the greatest, the all-powerful queen of the Bijus. I thought you could do this on your own. I've already used the majority of chakra stored away to break through the first seals to come here. It will take me too long to recover my chakra, especially since I'm just a part of the real, magnificent queen, she said. Tuh, even in this state you still have a high enough ego, said Shikaku. You said that you would help me, said Kurumi. Well, I don't feel like it anymore. What? Stop being a bitch and come over here and help me. Now you're insulting me, and you expect me to help you. So what is this? Are you gonna turn against me now? Asked Kurumi. Well, I don't trust you. The last time you told me that you would give me the secret of being able to walk amongst the humans in this form, you did not give it to me. But this time, you can easily trick me as well, so why should I trust you? Because I promise you, this time there will be no tricks. I've told you what this child was gonna do to this world. Do you really want to pass up that opportunity because you're petty? Don't call me that, Shikaku said. She got off the sand throne and she walked over. Fine. But if you wrong me this time, I'll make you suffer. Yeah, just help me out. As Shikaku grabbed her hand and pumped chakra into her, back in the outside world, the sword started to take on a more sandy color before it slides right through the adding chakra, bolstering the red chakra around it to slice right through. That is when she came in as Guren was confused. Who are you? She said. Gaia turned. Who are you? She said to her. Wait, you're that sand girl, the Jinjuliki, aren't you? My lord told me about you. What are you doing here? This does not concern you. Leave. Sand shot out as Guren was forced to jump back. However, she slammed her hand on creating a crystal wall, blocking it. But Gaia placed the sword down on Naruto's chest, and nothing happened. Guren stepped forward as she saw the girl, just standing there, confused by that action as she moved forward. What are you doing? However, Gaia paid her no mind. Nothing's happening. Of course nothing's happening. Don't you see those seals, you idiots? However, Gaia wasn't talking to her. That is when the chakra started to slowly evaporate from the blade, and then it started to be pulled inside of him. The place trembled as all of them were feeling it. It trembled again. The whole building was starting to shake. Another shockwave as lightning started to spark. Guren felt her hair stand on edge. So did Gaia, as she felt her fingers tingling. The place then trembled once again, as Naruto's body started to convulse. His chest shooting up. His hands started to twitch. His whole body started to twitch, as he started to twist and move. That is when a colossal explosion went off. Down in the hall, Guren's eyes widened. No, she said, thinking that those masked ninjas got out. That is when she saw a few of them, 4 in total, moving towards them. Immediately, crystals appear in her hand. However, the place trembled, throwing everyone off their balance. What the hell is going on? Guren shouted at Gaia. However, Gaia didn't pay any attention. Gaia reached down, but Naruto's hand suddenly shot up and grabbed her wrists. She was about to retaliate until she felt it. He meant her no harm. His body then convulsed as he released her. His body then started to release strange lights that spread through the entire building, forcing everyone to close their eyes. When Gaia finally opened her eyes, the seals on his chest started to slowly burn away. As Naruto's body started to tremble before, his body was picked up by a golden and black aura, and a small flickering of red around him. His hair then caught on fire, surprising and shocking all of them. His long hair seemed to just catch on fire. His body started to be put right side up. His eyes snapped open. However, what they saw was a golden ocean. It seems like a sea of gold, and inside was tiny sparks of black lightning. His hair was burning. However, it was only his power. The two girls stepped back, as his body seemed to be releasing far too much power. What is he doing? He's gonna bring this entire place down. Stop him, said Guren. Gaia's hand lashed out. However, the sand was forced to stop as the fire from his hair crystallized it. The two girls' eyes went wide. On the outside, envoys were moving back towards the building as they heard the explosion. However, before they could get too close, the entire thing erupted, underground and above. The buildings that were close by were eviscerated. Bodies were turned to ash. The root envoy were erased. The regular envoy that got close enough were erased. The explosion was large as lightning erupted in the sky. The clouds got dark as violent explosions of electricity struck and destroyed buildings. A tsunami of fire erased, burning everything around it. The lightning and fire then mixed as it created something more destructive and chaotic, eviscerating everything in a large, wide radius. Once it was done, there was a gigantic, colossal crater within the village. No buildings, nothing standing. The only thing that remained was a crater that spanned in a wide radius. Harrison came to a stop as he glanced over as the first was reforming. "What the hell was that?" said Jiraiya, as there was blood running down his cheek from a slash in his face. As everyone saw the black lightning, No, no, said Harrison. Orochimaru then chuckled. Harrison snapped his gaze towards him. "What have you done?" he yelled. "Oh, it's quite simple," Orochimaru said. "I just released the beasts. Now, the party's about to begin," Orochimaru said. The chuckling was sweet. As the first Hokage rushed in to attack Harrison, he had no choice but to defend himself. This was bad. This was really bad. On the other side, the kids that were evacuating civilians came to a stop as they saw the massive explosion. Kurenai also paused where she was. "That lightning," she said. She rushed over there as quickly as possible. "Kurenai, wait!" Asuma said. However, it was too late as she jumped down. Asuma was stopped by a few sound ninjas getting in his way. "Get out of my way!" He sliced them down with his trench knife, but more jumped in his path. "Damn it," he cursed. "Kurenai," he yelled out, but she wouldn't listen. Kurenai arrived towards a large open area. Buildings, people were just eviscerated here. But that lightning, that was the one that he used. Over in the center of the crater, there was two strange pods. It seemed to be some strange cocoons, made from nothing but gold, a golden material. However, that golden material slowly started to break apart as it reverted back into chakra. Gaia's eyes snapped open as she checked herself. "I'm alive?" she said, rather shocked. She could have sworn that she was about to die a moment ago. She looked towards the other gold pod as Goren looked up. "What the hell? I'm alive?" she asked herself as well. The amount of power that was just released eviscerated the entire building, destroying everything in its wake. Goren looked around as the remaining golden pod vanished. Everything was gone. The only thing that was left was a gigantic crater. The earth was scarred and burned. As she turned towards Gaia, "Did you do this?" she asked. No, Gaia said, confused herself. "Well, if you didn't, then I did." They froze at his tone. They looked around before they looked up. He was floating. What the hell? Slowly he landed as there was a gust of wind. The moment his foot touched the earth, his long blonde hair settling back down, a sword in his right hand. Goren slowly picked herself up. "You saved us," she said. "Yes, I..." However, he paused. That is when Gaia noticed someone behind him, her hand set in a strange position. Kurenai had just placed a genjutsu on him as she moved. "Behind you!" Gaia shouted as she slowly picked herself up. However, she was too far to get to him in time as she shot her sand out. But Kurenai was close enough. She had snuck up on him. Kurenai drove a kunai right through his back to stab him right through. However, the kunai shattered as it hit a golden armor that appeared in a second before she could reach him. Kurenai was shocked as she looked at her hands at the broken kunai. She had drive it with such force, and yet this thing counteract all of that. But that wasn't possible. Her genjutsu should have at least buy her a few seconds, or at least stunned him, but yet he shrugged it off. Black chains grabbed her legs and arms, as she could no longer feel her chakra coming out. "Let me go, you monster!" she yelled. As Naruto turned, "Monster? You call me a monster, yet you just tried to drive a kunai straight through me. You killed Hinata. You're nothing but a monster. I was hoping that this moment would come, that I could see you again and kill you myself," she shouted. "But look at you," said Naruto, helpless and unable to do anything. As Naruto slowly turned to face her, she spat in his face. However, it did not touch him. The spit was evaporated by a spark of black lightning as he wagged his finger in her face. "No, that's rather naughty," he said. "You deserve to be punished for what you just did." "Kunai!" Asuma yelled. As he arrived toward the slope, looking around, and he saw her. And I know the best way to punish the ones that love you by making them see this." Asuma rushed down, however Kunai started to scream. He moved as fast as he could, but it was too late, as the chains ripped her apart, tearing her arms and legs off, another one ripping her head off. Asuma stopped in his tracks, as he couldn't believe what he just saw. Blood splattered everywhere. Gaia's eyes widened. He was just like her, she thought to herself. Asuma couldn't believe what he was seeing. His trench knife actually fell out of his hand, as he watched Kunai be ripped apart. Without a second of hesitation, a smirk came on Naruto's face, still holding his blade. However, a swarm of insects swallowed Naruto, as Shino had arrived on the scene, following Kunai rushing off when he had saw the black lightning as he heard about the fight. Hoping to get revenge for Hinata, Shino was shocked. However, his shock turned to rage as his bugs swallowed Naruto, trying to suck him dry. However, Naruto simply laughed. "Enough!" he shouted as black lightning reduced them to dust. It came out as a spark before it zapped all of them like they were nothing but, well, they were insects. Shino felt all of them erased in a matter of seconds. As Naruto looked toward his hands, all of his power had been swelling up, sealed away, caged back. His power wanted to burst out of him. He had just released a large quantity, yet he had such more to use. As Naruto felt the connection return. "Welcome back, Naruto-kun," said Chromie. As Naruto chuckled. "It's good to be back. We'll talk later, okay?" said Naruto. "First thing first." As he started to walk away. "Wait, where are you going?" said Gurren. As Naruto ignored her, he then offered his hand towards Gaia. She looked at him strangely, before she took it as he helped her up. "Come with me," he said to her. "What?" she said, confused. "None of these people in your village understand you. They don't know anything about you," said Naruto. "But in the briefest time that we've met, I know you and I understand you. We're one in the same. Come with me." "Your village don't deserve you," said Naruto. "You're better than that. For all that you've been through, and I can tell, you deserve to live a better life. You deserve to be a queen," said Naruto. Gaia was shocked. "Me? A queen? Why?" she said to him. As Naruto raised a hand, for the first time her sand did not lash out, as he placed on her cheek, "Because you deserve it." "So how about it? Come with me," said Naruto. "I assure you, it will be a lot better than going back to your village." Gaia didn't know what to do as she was in her mindscape a second later. She looked up towards her mother. As Shikaku walked over. "You should go." I should? "Yes. This child, I've seen it for myself now. He's gonna change the entire world. And I want you to be there. And I want to be there as well. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna be hard, but it will be worth it. You should go with him. You will live a better life. And who am I to deny your desires?" "My desires?" said Gaia. As Shikaku simply looked at her. "Remember, I'm inside of you. I'm the only person you can't fool. Back in the outside world, Gaia nodded. I'll come with you, she said. As that brought a smile to Naruto's face. Good, he said. He then turned towards Guren. Orochimaru sent you, if I'm not mistaken. Guren nodded. You need to come with me. There are more people coming. You're not going anywhere, Asuma yelled. However, Guren slammed her hand down as a crystal dragon emerged and rushed towards the man as he had to fight it off. One went after Shino as well, forced him to backpedal and move away. We don't have much time. Let's move. Wait, said Naruto. There's one more thing I want to do. What? What is that, she said. A few seconds later, back towards the fight, Orochimaru grit his teeth in frustration. As the battle was getting more problematic, he signaled to his Sound 4 as he went through hand sign, bringing in back the first and the second Hokage in their coffins. Too much ninjas were arriving on the scene, and he could not get a clear shot to kill Hiruzen. The Hokage was being backed up by too much people. Relieving, he told the Sound 4. As Drobo slammed his fist into the ground before he erupted a large, gigantic boulder and threw it. Kinemari then fired several destructive arrows as he destroyed the boulder, causing debris to rain down as a distraction. As a snake was summoned by the snake Sanin and he jumped on top of it and ride off along with the Sound 4. Things didn't go as planned, and not to mention the Sound 4 ninjas were getting exhausted, and also majority of the Sand ninjas had fled already. Some of them died and the Sound ninjas were being wiped out. This would end with the old monkey still alive. However, Hiruzen will die, and Orochimaru had more incentive to do so because he was a monster on the loose. Jiraiya quickly picked himself up. There was a nasty gash in his side. His left arm was bleeding. Facing off against Second Hokage was not a good idea. Hiruzen was not doing so well either as he had several cuts on him. That is when all of them felt it. Glancing up towards the Hokage's monument, a dark, pitch black cloud appeared. A screeching sound could be heard before a gigantic beast came crawling down from the cloud. A dragon of sorts, made from pure black lightning before it slammed into the monument. The whole thing exploded. No, Hiruzen yelled. Most of the civilians were sent there, while there was different underground bunkers and different shelters. Some of them were sent up there. His grandson and his two little friends were sent to the shelter. He didn't know if it was that one. And it all went up in smoke. The entire thing being eviscerated. Well, wasn't it a wonderful show? They all turned as they saw Naruto standing there immediately. Anvu's flanked him. As they moved in, he allowed them to grab him though. Swords were placed at all its vital spots. Do you really think I'll come down here by myself? You're still powerful than me. And there's too much of you, said Naruto. But don't worry, I'll be back. By the way, if you haven't figured it out, I'm just a clone. But know this, old man, said Naruto. I'll kill you. And every single one in this village. That was my mark on your little village, Naruto says. He glanced towards the monuments. And there's more to come. Because I won't stop, I won't rest until your head is in my lap. And you as well, Jiraiya. I'll kill each and every one of you. I'll make you suffer beyond your wildest imaginations. I'll take everything. I won't just destroy Konoha. Killing everyone would just be a waste. First, I'll make you all suffer. Remember my words. And do not take my threat lightly. I'll be back. And I'll be seeing you all soon, he says. He poofed away. Leaving a dreadful atmosphere. The place was in ruins. Bodies were littered everywhere. Crying and screams could be heard all over. So much death. So much chaos. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.